No one intervened.
Welcome to November. Or I guess really whenever you finally got around to checking this episode out. I mean, for you it could be June for all I know. Whenever that is, I am very thankful you are taking the time to join me. You are in for a real treat this week. My husband Kevin and friend from across the pond, Lou, both kibitz with me about Guy Fawkes Day. Don't know what I'm talking about? We'll fix that shortly. Make sure you stick around for the US versus UK face-off quiz at the end of the episode. Don't forget, you can subscribe to Jacqui Just Chatters on your favorite podcast medium. You can also find Jacqui Just Chatters on YouTube if that's your jam. My regular episodes come out every other Thursday. And now, on to our regularly scheduled program. Remember, the 5th of November. To most Americans, this means nothing. They have no idea about what people are trying to get you to remember. There is an easy reason for that. It is a rhyme about an event that took place in England a very long time ago. The name might sound familiar, Guy Fawkes Day, or it is also known as Bonfire Night. Welcome, my friends, to Jacqui Just Chatters. Today we are exploring this holiday, what it is, how it is celebrated in England, why my husband and I celebrate it in the United States, and how we've had to create our own special way to make that work here. I am delighted to be joined by my understanding and long-suffering husband, Kevin, and my long-distance guest, kindred spirit, all the way from merry old England, Lou. Welcome to the podcast, you two.
Thank you for having me on again.
Yes, thank you for having me too.
This is all so exciting.
It
Okay,
is.
I am so geeked to get going. First, I think it's probably a good idea to give our listeners a basic outline of what this holiday is about. Guy Fawkes Day, or Bonfire Night, observes the failure of a conspiratorial group and their attempt to blow up Parliament on November 5th, 1605.
Yes, that's right. So Guy Fawkes is the name of one of the men who tried to kill the king and members of Parliament, tried to blow up the House of Lords, and they wanted to re-establish Catholic rule in England.
Yep, but Guy Fawkes and the others were betrayed. Guy was caught the night before at the explosive stash. He and the rest of the conspirators were arrested, tried for treason, and killed.
Now, Lou, you were just telling us that your town actually has a connection to this story. Lay it on us.
Okay, so the next village along from my town in North Yorkshire is Scotton, and that is where Guy Fawkes spent his teenage years. And he was born in York. His father died, I think, when he was 8 years old, and then his mother remarried, and she married a Catholic, and they moved to Scotland. And it's likely that he was radicalized there. There's two fairly influential Catholic families, the Pullens and the Percys, had a big influence on him, and he obviously then left Scotland, went travelling to Europe, and came back and became involved in this plot. So yeah, there's a little local link there. He went to school in York, his primary school in York at St Peter's, and still to this day they won't have a bonfire there because of their former pupil.
Oh, really?
So yeah, and there's a theory as well. I think there's a small chain of nice restaurants and pubs that are in my son's collective, where he works for one of the hotels, and there's a Guy Fawkes Inn in York, and they won't have a bonfire there as well, or any of the properties that were owned by the Fawkes family won't have a bonfire because of obvious reasons that
interesting.
Yeah.
So you can go to York and stay at the Guy Fawkes Inn.
You can, and the pub in Scotland where he grew up, there's a Guy Fawkes Arms there. So in Scotland, where you'd think they might not have a bonfire, they have a huge bonfire there, and then everybody goes back to the pub for a nightcap. So
That's
so
wonderful.
different perspectives. Yeah.
That's a really cool story. Well, okay, so listeners, we've now covered the basics, and we'll get to more as the episode follows. England starts a day of remembrance, a holiday, if you will, so people won't forget this event. Lou, as our resident English expert, can you tell us about how this holiday is celebrated today in England?
Over the years, it has changed slightly. So in the past, we had bonfires in the back garden, fairly big bonfires. You would burn, excess wood, old furniture, logs and different things. Have people round, have small fireworks display, and have kind of winter warming food. So we would have chili and jacket potatoes or soup, hot dogs or that kind of thing. And parkin, do you have parkin?
I have no idea what
thing
that
they
is.
have. It's like a sticky ginger, oat and sort of treacle and syrup cake. It's really nice.
Sounds delightful.
It sounds good.
Yeah, so there's that, and bonfire toffee, which is like a kind of treacle toffee. So all of those are quite traditional. But then over the years, we tend now to go to more organised bonfires at either the cricket club or the local councils will put on a huge display, really good fireworks. And I think in the interest of safety, really, because a lot of, obviously there were house fires and people's fences catching fire and different things. And it tends to support a lot of charities if there's a bonfire. So the one that we go to at a huge field, it's an enormous bonfire, a huge firework display. Say the scouts will do the food, so that they will charge like a nominal fee, but they'll get donated the food. So it'll be a process like a community kind of supported thing. The other thing that we used to do back in the day, which was actually really hard, is we used to make a guy. So out of old clothes, like I remember my granddad's old shirts or pajamas being stuffed full of straw or hay and some old trousers, a big head of some kind. But it was really hard to keep them all together. And you would take them around in like a cart or a wheelbarrow, saying penny for the guy, so that people would give you some spare change just to have a bit of extra pocket money. And then at the end you would take your guy and put it on top of the bonfire and watch it go up. Fairly sinister.
So what is
Yeah.
for the Yankee audience?
Yes.
What is the significance of the bonfire and the guy?
Well, the guy obviously represents Guy Fawkes. The significance of the bonfire is the victory of the king, really, that he was victorious. He kind of, the plot was foiled, and he survived this kind of assassination plot, really. So it was kind of I suppose, quite a macabre way of saying, this, and the fireworks would have represented like the gunpowder, and it would have really gone up, wouldn't it, and had a massive explosion. One of the good things that happens now with the community events is that early on they will do silent fireworks, so that the younger children and dogs and neurodivergent people can be involved and see like a visual display, and then later on they'll do the audible fireworks, so that you've got like timed events, and that's kind of a way to make it accessible for a bigger amount of the community, which I thought was really nice. So,
oh my goodness, I know some people who would really enjoy.
I have one question. I have a food question that I have to ask for reasons which shall become clear later.
Okay.
Do they still do sausages at Bonfire Night?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
We don't we don't tend to do the like a traditional hot dog. It's always actual sausages in a bread bun with onions and usually ketchup or mustard. So yeah.
Sounds
Oh,
wonderful. Thank you.
okay, I want to
Yeah.
come. Sounds like a really good time over there.
I'm interested to hear about what you know how you guys celebrate it.
Lou, is this like actually a big holiday for you and your family? Is it one that like you really enjoy? Is it something you make sure that you do and that your family partakes in? Or is it one of these like, yeah, like, whatever, I don't care?
I think it tends to be if you have younger children or even slightly older children that enjoy going to the events, it's quite a big thing. We have, you know, grown up child now, and we have dogs, so we tend to stay in, even though the dogs aren't really bothered by the fireworks. We wouldn't want to leave them on their own, really. It is quite a big deal. You'll hear about events happening in the area. Everyone will talk about it, about if they're going to a firework display, to a bonfire, or some people will have like a smaller scale event if they can't go out. If people with dogs tend to have maybe a few friends around and they'll have the fire pit or that kind of thing. So it's a marked occasion. It's a good opportunity to get together. Yeah. Where the history is involved, I'm not sure how significant it is now. It just feels like a community event, really.
Cool. Guy Fawkes is actually an important part of Jacqui and I's relationship. It's even one of the reasons we got married.
Oh.
So, yeah, we were at a party given by a group of friends. This was only the second time we'd met. And she was sitting on the other side of the room and talking, and I heard her mention Guy Fawkes. And that caught my attention because I'm like, who in America is talking about Guy Fawkes? And I piped up and I said, are you talking about Bonfire Night? And she looked at me and said, how do you know about Bonfire Night?
Not many Americans know about. So just as he was shocked as I knew about Guy Fawkes, I was shocked that he knew about Bonfire Night.
And so my response as well, you probably never seen it, but there was this show on PBS called Mulberry. And to my surprise, she's like, I know Mulberry. I'm like, what? Who watches this show? This was on the local PBS station at 11 o'clock at night on Tuesday.
That when I was in college, a girl in my dorm, she had watched like, I don't know, the first episode. There's not many of them. And she's like, you've got to see this show. And we were always up late. And so we just watched this show on PBS. Fantastic, cheerful, adorable show. That was my first exposure actually to Guy Fawkes. And
Same
then
with
when I
me.
went to Scotland, heard more about it. Yeah, hardly anybody over here knows about it. So the fact that we both knew the holiday, we both knew about it from this obscure British TV show. So I got up from the other side of the room, came over to the love seat where he was sitting, and then we started talking the rest of the night, finding
Talked
out
like
we
all
had
night.
all these things in common. That was when like we became friends and we started, and I'm like, this guy's really cool. He's really interesting. He knows all this stuff that I like.
So back to the sausages. I have to share a quick story that I love from the Bonfire Night episode of Mulberry. The lady of the manor is having a discussion with her cook about what kind of sausages to serve at the bonfire that they're going to have at the manor. She cannot make up her mind. She goes through like 5 different options, goes back and forth to the point where the poor cook has at her wit's end. And then the main character, Mulberry, walks in and asks, oh, what are you doing? And they're like, we're trying to figure out what sausages to have. And Mulberry says, I'll tell you what you don't want. You don't want those blended kind. No one has those anymore. And immediately the manor says, nope, that's the kind we're going to have. I've decided. And that's the end of it.
That he knew the older woman was being persnickety, and he's like, okay, I'll solve this. I know how to handle her. No, have you ever heard of the show, Lou?
No, I've not heard of it. No, that's such a kind of meet cute, isn't it? The way that you kind of overhear, and it's a brilliant kind of intro, isn't it, to quite a niche bit of information that you both know from like a really rare source as well.
It is. It's a lovely show. I highly recommend it. It's only it's 2 seasons. I think 6 episodes and 8 episodes. It was from the late 90s, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, Kevin and I, we consider it's kind of like the Ted Lasso of its day. It's so sweet and kind and uplifting
Yes.
and
hmm And
I'm
without
not
being
entirely sure
silly.
that I know who
Yeah.
Ted Lasso is.
oh my, you haven't watched Ted Lasso?
No.
Oh my gosh. It's okay. Ted Lasso, he's just the nicest guy in the universe.
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
It's a very heartwarming series. hmm
Yeah. I'll have to
Everyone
watch
should watch it.
it.
It's like counseling, seriously.
Yeah.
It's the cheapest, most entertaining counseling you'll ever go to.
Yeah.
Hmm.
After Kevin and I got married, because this was our meet cute, we decided that Guy Fawkes was going to be our special holiday, which was really nice because obviously no one in the States was celebrating it. So we never had to compete with somebody's like, well, oh, we're having a Guy Fawkes party too. No, nobody was. So we had it all to ourselves. Though, because we were not in Britain, some accommodations obviously had to be made.
Yes. Yeah. We had to alter things a bit. For example, we are not allowed to have bonfires in our back gardens here in the suburbs. They kind of frown on large open flames. So we have a very nice fire pit though, with a lovely Celtic cross detail on the side. So that's our bonfire. When we started, there were rules on what kind of fireworks we could use. We were not allowed to use the kind that shoot off and make a big explosion, a lot of lights. We had to resort to fountains and Roman candles. That wasn't too bad. It was still a lot of fun. Then they did eventually change the laws, and we were allowed to use the ones that shoot off and make the big, pretty explosions. However, when we did that, we ended up having the police show up at our house. Yeah, apparently our neighbors heard the explosions, but were not seeing the pretty lights, and so were reporting shots fired to the police.
Oh no.
Now, okay, I love the big fireworks. Bigger, the better. And I've always loved them. And so when they made them legal, I invested in some very big professional grade fireworks. I was ready to put on my own show. Like it was pyrotechnic time. So yeah, the cops came. I'll tell you, it was a heck of a show. And here I
Can
am.
imagine.
I think I'm in my 40s now. The first time I've ever been to a party where the cops are called, it's at my house. And I'm like the adult, not the child. So now I after that I printed out a calendar of every acceptable date for the big fireworks and I put it on the fridge so I wouldn't miss an opportunity. But yeah,
Sadly, Bonfire Night is not one of those.
no, and I don't understand
What?
why.
I know. I'm
Little
like, what?
schmucks.
I can't set
Yeah.
off these beautiful fireworks on November 5th? What? I don't know.
That's bonkers.
We've changed, so we've gone back to fountains, but there's some pretty good fountains, and there is a whole host of like you were describing. There's no noise or very very low noise, and that's what we use now. So we still have some fireworks. We just set off a few quieter ones, and they're pretty, but it checks the box. It's just it's not we're not shaking the houses, unfortunately for me.
And it doesn't involve a visit by the local constabulary.
Yes. Although it does make a good story.
Now, the guys, obviously, because we have a fire pit, we can't have a full scale straw filled guy.
No.
So I came up with the idea from my kitchen. I, of course, had one of those cookie cutters of a gingerbread man. So I bought a couple gingerbread man cookie cutters, and that became our template. And people would trace out a gingerbread man on paper, cut it out, and that would be their base of a guy. And then they would decorate and design it into a theme.
Wow.
And then we would have a judge pick their favorite guy. We have had a Star Wars guy who looked like a stormtrooper.
Yep.
We've had an Easter Bunny guy, a Loch Ness guy. So we had a guy riding Nessie. We've had a Don't Mess with Texas guy with a huge Stetson hat and some guns. In total irony, we did a Pope guy.
Yeah.
a Hulk guy, Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
Yep,
Yep.
yep. Spam. There was a
Yeah.
spam
Yep.
guy.
Mm.
Yeah. We've had some people who actually do 3-dimensional, where they'll cut out multiple cookie cutters and glue them together.
Uh-huh. Wow.
We even one year had a Cthulhu guy, because people know I liked H.P. Lovecraft, and I was judging that year.
There's a lot of pandering
I
when they
love
find out
that.
like who's doing it. Like, my mom judged one year, and she loves Barry Manilow,
Oh.
and so somebody made a Copacabana
Oh,
guy.
wow.
So he had like this open shirt and curls on his chest, and like had the mariachi. I mean, it was so bad. It was hysterical.
So bad it
So
was good, though.
the winner gets
Mm.
strapped to the first firework we set off.
Well, the winner's
And then-
guy, not the winner themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Very good point.
How big are the fireworks?
We are not killing humans, just the effigies.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we tape them to the firework and we set it off. So they usually burn. Sometimes we have like
Yep.
half burned ones. And it gets
We've had some
weird.
resilient guys who decided not to burn with their fountain.
Yeah, they don't want to go. And then the rest of the guys, we start up the bonfire in the pit, and everybody tosses their guy into the fire pit. So it's very Zen-like, because you make this thing, we enjoy it, and then we destroy it. You know, it's
Yep.
very Zen.
Yeah. It sounds
And
fun. Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
time. Everybody
Yeah.
laughs.
Mm.
And then we'll get like some warmed mulled cider. Now, just to be clear, on this side of the pond, when we say cider, we're talking pressed apple juice,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fresh pressed apple juice that's not been
Yes.
like
Not fermented.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Non-alcoholic.
it's
Yeah.
and it's non-alcoholic. Yeah.
Mm. Sounds
Though
nice.
you can get hard cider here, like, but that's not yeah. And then we'll sometimes have pumpkin pie or various snacks. Though I have written down what was it, Parkin?
Yes.
That you were saying
Parkin,
was
yes.
okay. I got to
Yeah.
look that up because that looks pretty cool. I want to try that for our
See
Guy
if we can import
Fawkes.
that. Yeah, see if we can import that over here and try it.
Yeah. Oh, you're an amazing cook, Jacqui. You could have a go at that.
Oh, thank you. You know what? You see the pictures and they look nice. They don't always taste so fabulous, but if I make the Parkin, I will put a picture of that on my Facebook page, and everybody can like ooh and ah, and then people who actually tasted it can comment if it. But the thing is, like, we have no idea what it actually is supposed to taste like, so it really you can't compare it.
Yeah,
Like,
Can't go wrong.
as long as it tastes good, I
It's
did
meant
it
to
right.
be like this.
Right, exactly. No one's gonna tell me otherwise.
No.
Screw them.
yeah, and then also what we'll do is if it's not too cold that night, because November 5th here in Michigan can get very cold at times. But if it's not too terrible, we'll set up a bunch of chairs around our fire pit and keep the fire going for a while and just sit around and talk and hang out. And then we'll often also, not really Guy Fawkes related, but then we'll also have people indoors to play a variety of different board games, because we love board games. So
It sounds like a
lot of
great
fun.
night. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I ask you about sparklers? Do you have sparklers?
Yes, we
do.
do.
And we always have those for the kids. Absolutely.
Yeah. Colored ones or white ones?
You know, it
I'm not
varies
sure what we have at
depending
the
on
moment.
what we bought. I recently I had a good sale at the professional grade place where I get my firework, and I bought a bunch of fireworks and stuff, so I'm ready for this Guy Fawkes and like the next Guy Fawkes. And I think I got like those really like the yard long ones, the like I got the industrial ones for this year. Yeah, I
Really
went
good
all
ones,
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the
And then
big
you put them
kids
in
like
a
those
bucket
too.
of water or sand or
Yes.
something.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
always
Yes, water.
safety. We always have a
Yes.
bucket of
Oh,
water
yeah.
on hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, another thing that we do, which you probably have heard of, but they'll build the bonfire for maybe several days before they light it. But then the day of the bonfire, they will have several people search through the bottom, because quite often hedgehogs will go and try and nest in the bottom. And so,
Oh, yes,
no.
yes.
have you heard of this before? So
I
yes,
think so, but please go
yeah.
ahead.
So basically, so they make sure that there's no wildlife in there before they obviously light it. So they make sure all the base is clear. So because they love like piles of wood and things to kind of nestle into. So yeah, it's a big safety thing. I know.
The poor little hedgehogs.
Well, I'm very
There's no
glad they do that.
hedgehogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
That is a really bizarre tradition. Like, okay, it's time for the hedgehog clean out.
Yes. It's a thing. Yeah. You wouldn't want to feel bad, would you, about
No. Like,
No.
that's an interesting smelling meat. What sausages did you buy? Uh-oh, somebody's got the hedgehog sausages.
But they are huge. Some of them are absolutely
Yeah.
enormous. Yeah.
This one was big enough you could fit a good sized person inside.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what's the biggest one you've ever personally seen, Lou? How big?
Oh, it's the Stray is like a huge kind of belt of fields that surrounds Harrogate, and the one there is probably the biggest, and it's maybe about 10, 12 feet high. But obviously, when the flames start going, it really,
Right.
kind of takes off. So in more, they don't tend to put a guy on these days.
Right, you were
They,
saying, yeah.
yeah, they tend to just have the bonfire itself, and I'm not sure why or when that exactly stopped happening, but I haven't seen that for a little while. So
That's too bad. That's part of the fun.
it is.
That's part of the fun.
Yes,
But
yeah, yeah.
but for me the best part's the bonfire itself, so that's
Yes,
okay.
yeah. I've seen occasional ones where there'll be a bit, like an unpopular politician guy. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
That has happened on our fires.
Yes.
It was like, I don't like this person, and I can't do anything
Yeah.
about them, but I can burn them in
Yes.
effigy.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, that's
Free
never
counseling.
happened. I don't know. That's never happened. I don't know what you're talking
No.
about.
Oh,
No.
That's just a
know.
British thing, right?
That's right. That's not universal at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it is time to have a little fun
Mm.
in a very British way
Mm-hmm.
that is now very popular in the US, thankfully.
Mm.
A quiz.
Yay.
For those of you playing at home, we'll be giving our contestants a series of 5 questions. We will switch back and forth between them. The prize? If Lou wins, America will finally apologize for that whole tea incident. If Kevin wins, Britain will apologize for that arson event that took place during the War of 1812. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go Google it.
Mhm.
All right. Are my contestants ready?
Yes.
Ready.
Ready.
Okay, we will begin. All right, Lou,
Yep,
here is
okay.
your first question.
All right.
Who was the leader of the conspirators? Your choices are A. Robert Catesby, B. Thomas Winter, or C. Guy Fawkes?
It was Robert Catesby.
Correct. It was.
Very well done.
To paraphrase Freddie Mercury, you are the champion. Kevin,
All right.
here's your first question. As part of the modern remembrance, the Parliament building in London is searched each year for signs of possible arsonists. Is this true or false?
Oh, I'm going to say true because I want that to be true so badly.
It is true, though it is mostly ceremonial.
It is.
Woohoo!
Well, unlike the myth of Paul Revere's ride, you got this correct. Nicely done. Making America
All
look
right.
good. Okay, Lou, here is your second question.
Okay.
Catholics were super mad at this monarch for not granting greater religious tolerance to Catholics and began to plot the overthrow of their crown. Was it A. James I, B. Charles I, C. Charles II?
It was James I.
Correct. Nicely done.
Cool. I did not know that.
You're looking like the queen of this game, Your Majesty. Okay, Kevin, this is a follow-up question. Which of the following did King James I not do regarding Catholics that had them so pissed off that they decided to kill him? A. Publicly condemned Catholicism as a superstition. B. Ordered all Catholic priests to leave England. C. Ordered that no fishmongers could sell to Catholics on a Friday. Which of these did James I not do?
I'm going to go out on a limb and go with C, the last one.
Correct. That was fictitious. I made that one up. He did not order the fishmongers to not give the Catholics their fish on Friday. So I could see him like, let them starve.
That's right.
Okay. This is a tight game. We are tied 2-2. Lou, how did this scheme get foiled? A. The soldiers had been watching the group for months. They knew the whole time. B. An anonymous letter advising a Catholic sympathizer to avoid the state opening of Parliament alerted the authorities to the existence of a plot. Or C. Crazy random luck. Someone walked into the cellar and was like, what's all this then?
It was an anonymous letter.
Correct. It was B. Wonderful. Lou has a perfect score. Kevin, let's see if you can match that.
So no pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure. Lou's England really gets into the spirit of the holiday. How many bonfire societies does the town have? A, 4, B, 10, C, 6.
I'm going to go with 4.
Oh, Kevin. To paraphrase the famous musical, you are Yankee Doodle Don't. The answer is C, 6.
6.
Memberships are grounded in family history going back generations. All right, Lou, you're ahead of the game right now. Let's see if you can keep your place there.
Feeling the pressure.
No pressure. Number 4. What was the name of the pub that the conspirators used to plot their overthrow? Please note, these are all real pub names. A. Ye Old Cheshire Cheese. B. Duck and Drake Inn. Or C. The 7 Stars.
Duck and Drake.
Correct. It is the Duck and Drake. She's crushing it.
Oh, she is. The UK has some of the best pub names, I swear. Those are great.
There's some really, really, really good inappropriate ones.
Oh, you guys have some of the best names of villages
Oh,
ever.
yeah. We should do another one on that.
Oh,
yeah.
that'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. Okay, Kevin, question number 4. In 1603, there were 2 plans to remove James I from the throne. Which one of these was not a name given to a real plan? A. The Crimson Plot. B. The Main Plot. And that's MAIN. C. The Bye Plot. BYE.
Oh, that's tough. I'm going to go with B, the main plot.
Kevin, maybe you can borrow the doctor's TARDIS, go back in time, and pick a different answer because you are wrong.
Oh.
The fake name was the Crimson Plot.
That was the
main
fake
plot
one?
and the Bye Plot are real. Lou, you have gotten 4 out of 4 correct. Let's see if you can end on a perfect score. Here's your last question. What graphic novel and 2005 movie of the same name starred a protagonist wearing a Guy Fawkes mask? Please note, these are all real titles from movies that came out in 2005, by the way. Your choices are A, A History of Violence, B, V for Vendetta, or C, The Devil's Rejects.
I'm not sure, but I think it's V for Vendetta.
You are 100% correct.
Yes!
You are crushing it for England.
Are you sure you didn't slip her the answers?
I really didn't know the last one.
That was
Okay,
very
then.
good guess.
You're not doing so well for America here.
I know.
All right, you've got one chance to bring a little shine back. Number 5. Guy Fawkes Day celebrations were held in America, but ceased by the 1800s. What name did the colonies use for this holiday? Was it A, Pope Day, B, Gunpowder Plot Day, or C, Burn All Traitors Day?
Oh my. Oh, I don't know if it's true. I want it to be Pope Day. I'm going with Pope Day.
You actually got one correct.
Oh my gosh.
Congratulations. You end on a
Wow.
great note. Well, for those of you keeping score at home, America got 3 out of 5 correct, so we passed. But
Barely.
we couldn't compare to our English brethren who got 5 out of 5.
Good guesses, though.
Looks like we owe them an apology for that little tea incident.
On behalf of America, I would like to offer my most sincere, humble, and heartfelt apologies for that rather distasteful tea incident.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Oh. Well, I want to thank both of you guys for being on this show.
Thank you. It's been really fun.
Thanks for having me again. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This has been an absolute blast. Listeners, I hope you've enjoyed this cultural exchange, and maybe now you'll be interested in celebrating this holiday too. I'll be including links to where I got my information in the podcast notes. As always, be well, my friends.